Don't miss a lap. Sunday at 3:30 Eastern on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal, where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM, and your music stays with you wherever you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
SiriusXM Triumph. Get real answers with Dr. Laura.
No nonsense advice about relationships, marriage, kids.
Tough love.
It happened is not a phrase anybody uses when they take responsibility.
Inspiration.
Every time you go to bed with a negative thought, you have to match it up with a positive one. That's your new rule.
Dr. Laura, plus Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, Nancy Grace, and Dave Ramsey. To listen to Dr. Laura on Triumph, activate your subscription now by calling 844-711-8800 or head over to SiriusXM.com to sign up quickly. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM, we want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Of electronic dance music, vibe to sets from Swedish House Mafia, Sophie Tucker, Kygo, and many more. Captured live at Palm Tree Festival 2024, all throughout Independence Day, starting tomorrow, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Let's go. BPM, Channel 52, and the SiriusXM app.
Get this. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. You gotta get this. You gotta get
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Grando Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe. What a beautiful day it is. It's about 9 million degrees in Northern California, but it's a cool breeze. It's a cool breeze on a beautiful July the 3rd, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them it's you where the good Lord split you. If that makes sense to you, and hopefully the good Lord didn't split you too wide, but hopefully it's split you wide enough to avoid this heat. There's a heat wave hitting Northern California. I think it's also mostly in the Central Valley. The coast is a little bit cooler, and Southern California also has their own beautiful weather. I want to say today is a beautiful day for the 4th of July fireworks may lightning strike. My goodness, it feels like God is having the 4th of July because it's so hot in them dirt hills. My goodness, even the ants want to stay. They want to stay in the shade. You know it's pretty hot when the ants don't want to come out. They say it's too hot for the ants to stay in the shade. The ants will stay in the shade. You can stay in the shade too when you follow Big C Sports Podcast. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform. Provide the agencies we could all use more laughter in our lives and some cooler temperatures, if that makes sense to you. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. Runners on 1st and 3rd. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep in Denver Hills, California. I got Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings coming to you. Also, some little news about the NBA. Kevin Durant says he's staying. LeBron James decided to opt in to the LA Lakers. He's going to play with his son, Bronny James. Wait until we see the alley-oop. LeBron James for 3. Yes! Hit the hole in your life. Bronny James for 3. Yes! Hit the hole in your life. All spend them. Boy, you know I also bring you reparations. We got to have reparations now. Reparations forever. I heard on Wollongong this morning with the great Tim in Marvell that there's a gentleman that called in, I think from the land out under. I don't know exactly where he was calling from, but he said they were putting reparations in place down in the southern part of the world. So really do appreciate that. Everybody has their own thoughts about it. And then I want to say I appreciate it very much. The show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City and streaming on 4 TV platforms. And then I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media, and I really do appreciate that. And now we have people who miss a day of practice. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about practice. But I will be taking the time on the 4th of July to just celebrate this country, and hopefully they're going to announce reparations now, reparations forever. Maybe that's what they're going to announce on the 4th of July. So today's show covers the 4th of July and also today. Really do appreciate that. At the same time, I want to make sure I pay homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, they're going through issues. Pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. It is nice when somebody's leaning back. I want to say, in a serious note, I had heat stroke about, I think I was in my 20s or something. And when the temperature gets too hot, it actually affects me. I was having some headaches today. I was out talking to some businesses. It's foolish of me when it's 100 degrees going to talk to business owners because a lot of people are there for the holidays getting set up. But I had a little bit of a headache today that made me a little lightheaded. I don't take that lightly. I went and got some ibuprofen, and I went home and I laid down and took a nap for about an hour or two. And I even had some coffee. Just got to get my mind right. So I know there's a lot of times when people feel those signs coming on, and they say, "Oh, I'll be fine." I didn't feel fine though. I knew I needed to get some rest, get out and walking around in the heat. And I went home and laid in front of with the air conditioner on, and I feel a little bit better. But I'm going to keep it real. I want to make sure that I stay where my body's cool, if that makes sense to you. I think I said you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And see, I even think I said that twice. Maybe heat stroke is real. I'm not even joking. I did not feel myself about a couple hours ago. And I said to myself, maybe I should go and lay down. And so I did that. If anybody's going through any type of symptoms where you feel like your body's overheating, if you have just go get some cool water, get in front of an AC or a fan. Sometimes, you can go inside of a Starbucks and they got the air on for you. You don't have to ride around in the heat. No matter what it is, stay hydrated. If you feel a little bit lightheaded, then go lay down. Whatever you're doing, it can wait. Whatever you're doing, it can wait. Let somebody know what you're going through. In that way, all fair and level war. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. It's just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you, health is the number one thing in the world. Because I do know when I had the heat stroke, I was on top of my mother's house about 20 years ago. And I was painting the house, maybe it's longer than 20 years ago. And it was about 100 degrees. Now I thought I could handle it. But I was so sleepy the next day. I slept almost the whole day. And so I know when my body's saying, cool off, relax, go lay down, let people know where you are or how you're feeling. And so I did that. But today's show might be a little bit different. It may not have the energy that it normally has. Because I really do feel like my body's saying, chill out, if that makes sense to you. But I want to say I will always do the best I can with Big C Sports Podcast. But sometimes my mind's telling me no. But my body's telling me yes. We want the real Teddy Riley. Was that the real Teddy Riley or R. Kelly? Ooh, if you can't have either one of them. It's all fair and level war. I'm just telling you, I'm going through a real experience right now. Because I know there are times when you just got to pause. What did 2 Live Crew say at a concert? He said, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, that wasn't 2 Live Crew, that was Kitty Rogers. Of course you would correct me on air. Of course. There are times when you do things right and nobody says nothing. You make one mistake and somebody wants to correct you. I'm just trying to keep the integrity, Big C. I understand, I appreciate that, but you could at least wait till I'm over. I tell you, I'm loopy today, and I don't even mind saying it. Make sure you stay cool, because being cool is a good thing. So I gotta say, I want to make sure that I'm gonna get on to the things happening in the world of sports, but I always want to make sure with the talk of reparations, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. I want to do my part. And I want to make sure that people understand it's a small world after all. See, I think I'm suffering from heat stroke. It's a small world after all. 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 We want the real Disneyland. I tell you, I feel loopy. This is weird. But the show must go on. Big C on the audio Morgan mind. That's what Captain Kirk would say to Spock whenever Spock was trying to... He saw Spock one time and Spock was green. And Captain Kirk, he was also suffering from heat stroke. And he forgot that Vulcans were green. And when he saw Spock was green, he said, Spock on the audio Vulcan mind. Well, that's why I feel... But I'm going to do what I can to make the show go on. But today I may have to get some help. I may have to get some help from the universe. Because I feel like I don't feel myself, but I know the show must go on. It just may be a little bit different today. But I'm gonna do my commercial. It's more like an infomercial because I gotta make sure that I do what I can, and I can do the commercial if that makes sense to you. I want to say I have a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, Resource Development Consulting, Inc., in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of Attorney George Jones, the Missing Link Long-Term Care Solutions by the Book, over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow. In California, it's called Medi-Cal. Other places, it's called Medicaid. Now, your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. Now, the spend down test is over in California, but other places it's still there. I promise you, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, is we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down in California. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medications, medical equipment costs, and more. Not only that, have you ever known anyone who's dealt with skilled nursing facilities? Have you ever known anyone who's dealt with medical prescriptions? Have you ever known anyone who's dealt with medical equipment costs and more? Not only that, protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Are you talking about Aflac, Big C? No, Aflac's the duck. That's gap insurance. A duck can't protect his own assets. That's why you can walk into a restaurant and you can order the duck. RDC protects your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare debt brought by the government's estate recovery program called probate. Now, we've been asking the government for reparations, and they've been dragging their feet. But they don't drag their feet when it comes to probate. If you don't have your property in a trust, they will come after all your assets, if that makes sense to you. Fuck, are you out of your fucking mind? What do you mean you don't have a trust? You gotta have a trust. Don't wait till something happens. It's too late then. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. Not only that, I'm not done yet. I say I'm not done yet. Asset protection. Insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid, and attendance. What about your fixed assets, your bank account, checking account, your savings account, money market account, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities? What about your variable assets? I'm glad you asked about the variable assets. Real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, and other investments. Avoid capital gains. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000, and then in 1 year later, it appreciates to $1 million. According to some real estate brokers that make the sale, that's a $900,000 capital gain. You avoid that if your property is in a trust. Over 3 decades of experience, attention business owners, you can find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And I did that suffering from heat stroke. I want winners. I want people who want to win. But I had to lay my butt down early today because I was not feeling good. And I feel even right now I'm not myself. But I will do the best I can to always rise and shine. Whenever you deal with somebody that wants to do protection for your assets, you want to ask for their endorsement. With the RDC team and Big C Sports, unlike a lot of people when they say they want you to do business with them, they don't give you any references. Big C Sports and the RDC team, I will give you references, because a reference is just as important as 1,000 words. We have references. Attorney Scott Thibodeau, one of the top estate planners in Northern California. We have attorney Mr. George Jones, Esquire. He's the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also the California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Not only that, we have Mr. Leon Woods of Resource Development Consulting, works with many of the top lobbyists in California. Not only that, we have Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Not only that, we have Mr. Ray De La Cruz. He's the CEO of RDC Consulting, works with many of the top endorsers. As the late Robert Carlson, who was a top legal mind for Cal PERS, he endorsed the RDC team. Not only that, we have Mr. Alex De La Cruz, the founder of American Veterans Benefits. He endorses the RDC team. Not only that, we have Charlton Curry, co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project, also consultant, business development manager for the RDC team. Not only that, owner of Big C Sports Podcast that talks about sports and reparations on a worldwide level. Not only that, we have Double O. She's part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, also consultant for the RDC team. Not only that, has her own economic awareness talk show called Let's Eat. You can Google it on Access Sacramento. Not only that, I want to say, give it all praise. Give it all praise, praise, praise. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to say, when it comes to Big C Sports Podcast, I know we talk about sports. A lot of good things happening in the world of sports. Men are signing multi-million-dollar contracts, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wish that they would do it for descendants of child slavery. Maybe we need to get the NBA involved with reparations, because they're paying black men now. They're not making them wait and have another task force. But at the same time, we got to get in where we fit in, and we are the press. Bishop Williams talks about that on the One Gong Show that you can hear Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. around the world on One Gong. If you Google One Gong, it's Randy, not Randy, but it's Tim and Marvell. I told you I was dealing with a little bit of heat stroke today, and I know the signs. I don't even feel 100% right now. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, because I want to make sure that I put my message out there to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. I always say a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and I will not waste my mind. I will not waste my mind! Even though heat stroke's trying to say, well, I make the difference. I make the difference, Big C. Big heat stroke. It's a fight! Fighting out of Northern California is Big C Sports! Fighting the enemy also out of Northern California, heat stroke! I'm going to put my money on Big C. Oh, heat stroke. I might have to do the rope-a-dope to get that heat stroke out. I had to drink more water. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. I'm not even being flippant. I feel like I'm going to do what I can to do my show today, but I do not feel my best, and that's real deal. I'm reminded of a movie called Pulp Fiction. It was one of my favorite movies in the universe. It featured the great Ben Rames, Uma Thurman, John Travolta, and the great Sam Jackson. And there was a scene with Bruce Willis and Ben Rames. It's before the big fight. It's like I told heat stroke. Ben Rames has said, Bruce, your butt goes down in the 5th round. Say that to him. Bruce Willis said, okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round. And Ben Rames said, like I told heat stroke. It says boxing's full of a lot of unrealistic muddly bluckers who think their butt gets better with time like fine wine, but it don't. If you talk about wine, it does. But for boxers, it don't. He said your butt goes down in the 5th round. Say that, Blip! And Bruce Willis said, okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round. And Ben Rames said what I said to heat stroke. I said, that stinging sensation you're feeling in the back of your mind, well, that's just pride. Flipping with you. That's what Ben Rames said to Bruce Willis, and that's what Big C said to heat stroke. And I said, blood pride. I said pride only hurts. It never helps. So I'm trying to talk myself to tell heat stroke, get out. What was the movie when they told that lady was drugging those black men? It was called Get Out. And that's what I'm saying to heat stroke. I'm saying get out. But I did take some ibuprofen. But I feel that down goes heat stroke. Down goes heat stroke. I'm telling you seriously. Down goes heat stroke. I gotta win. I want winners. I want people who want to win. But I'm telling you, if I sound a little bit loopy, because I feel loopy. But I did the right thing. I got the AC in front of the AC. I'm doing my show. I'm going to pay homage to the Reparations Task Force. And then I'm going to let you hear from some people about sports too. All's fair and level war. I want to thank, with the California Reparations Task Force, the inimitable Dr. Shirley Weber, the Secretary of the State of California. I love giving her praise. She worked with California Governor Gavin Newsom, who also put together the California Reparations Task Force. And now, because they know a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and if they're saying no reparations, no vote, I want to give praise to the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I'm going to give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He also appeared on the Big C Sports podcast about 2 months ago. Love giving him praise. I want to give praise to the #1 senator in the universe, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He also championed name, image, and likeness that helps college student athletes get paid on their name, image, and likeness. He also championed the Ebony Alert that helps law enforcement put that same amount of resources into finding missing black children as the Amber Alert puts into finding missing white children. He's also championing reparations. He's like Moses. When God told us Moses in Exodus 10, he said, go down into Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And Senator Bradford said, well, who do I tell him to send me? He said, tell him I am sent you. And Moses said the same thing. But Moses said it first. Okay, don't get me in trouble. May lightning strike if you try to get me in trouble. But that's what he said, and that's what I'm telling. That's what Big C's telling heat stroke. God said, Big C, go down into your brain and tell heat stroke to let you do the show. And I said, well, who do I tell him to send me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. And I told Heath Stroke, I tell him to show. And Heath Stroke, he's still trying to get me in the rope-a-dope, but I'll not tolerate Heath Stroke. I'll not tolerate it. Even though it might seem like it got the best of me, but it doesn't. Oh, Lord have mercy. I love giving a Senator Bradford praise. I want somebody say, I think Heath Stroke got him on the ropes. I got Heath Stroke on the rope. I got Heath Stroke on the ropes. Heath Stroke, get down. Down goes Heath Stroke. Down goes Heath Stroke. And I'm not even joking. Lord have mercy. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Jabbar Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I love giving them all praise. And you can too. Give them all praise, praise, praise. Down goes Heath Stroke. Down goes Heath Stroke. Man, I'm telling you, it's something else. But I'm going to push forward. And if I feel like I need to pause, I will pause. But I know I always do the best I can to make sure I get my message out there. But I know there's a lot of people. I want to bring a special thank you with Bishop Ted Frazier, one of the statesmen, elder statesmen for the National Black Wall Street Project. He come through some issues, some challenges, and I'm not going to say what they were because I don't get his permission to say it, but I just want to say God is good. Prayer and medical help changes things. And when you know we deal with our elders, just make sure you check on them. Sometimes they go through issues and people don't know to check on them and pray on them. And I just want to thank God for so many things, as I always do with Big C Sports Podcast. So before I get into some sports, I want to play one of the greatest speakers in the history of the universe when it talks about reparations. Because if we know our mind is a tougher thing to waste, but if we don't talk about reparations and we're just sitting around talking about sports, then it's our fault. But like Bishop Williams said, we are the press, and I will do the best I can to elucidate the subject, because I believe that the more people talk about reparations for the descendants of child slavery, the more we'll get what we're looking for. If that makes sense to you, I want to make sure that it makes sense to me too. You can't say you didn't understand when you hear one of the greatest speakers ever talking about reparations.
Martin Luther King, we had a conversation a couple days ago about handouts and how these right-wing memes, these Republican memes, have infiltrated the Democratic debate to suggest that, ending welfare as we know it, all those kind of things are somehow, great and noble things, when we're not dealing with the underlying problem, which is that there's no economic opportunity there because of insane trade policies and because of Reaganomics. And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
from his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with the and didn't just steal it. I mean, murdered them he murdered the Indians in the process, and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country. It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries. It is a very, very strong case for that.
Reparations now, reparations forever. Reparations now, reparations forever. I love coming to you with the Big C Sports Podcast. Of course, we got some Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings, and that's coming up too. But I just love to talk of reparations and how all of us can realize, good people, you people, it's always the right time to do the right thing. And I will keep doing my chant for reparations, and I'll keep doing my chant for sports and bringing people together so we can all sing, we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. Reparations now, reparations forever. Reparations now, reparations forever. We love this time of year when it's hot, about 1 million degrees. There actually is a heat advisory in Northern California, so make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. If you can, check on the elderly, because sometimes not everybody understands that when they're going through some lightheadedness. And I've even experienced some doing the Big C Sports Podcast, even though I'm in air conditioning. Just be careful to check on people. And don't take for granted that people can check on themselves. Just a simple phone call, ask people if they're doing okay. Well, I'll do my best because the show must go on. I want to say runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. And Major League Baseball's Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Obviously, we have some games going on through the weekend, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that I love about Major League Baseball. I don't like it when it's so hot, but they're going to find out if they can. A lot of dome stadiums, they're okay for the people on the inside, but on the outside, it's not as safe as a lot of stadiums in the country still play outdoors in the sweltering heat. In Cincinnati, they play outdoors in the sweltering heat. Pittsburgh, they play outdoors in the sweltering heat. In Cleveland, they play outdoors in the sweltering heat. And it doesn't have the sweltering heat in the Bay Area. But in St. Louis, they play outdoors in the sweltering heat. Most stadiums around the country, they play inside of a dome stadium. In Boston and New York, they have open outdoor stadiums, and the heat and humidity can be pretty tough on a lot of people. But I have the 2024 Cleveland. This is for you, the Guardians. They've entered, and I'm going to say they've gotten back to where they got the groove back. I'm not suggesting they're taking 107 games, but I remember it was mid-June 2021 when a lot of people questioned whether the Guardians would even be a good baseball team. The Guardians are 52-30 as of my last report, and there are people who wonder, are they the real deal? It's good to have Cleveland being in the hunt. You also have the Dodgers in Los Angeles. They got a win last night, a walk-off win last night, and you got to realize against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Dodgers will always be one of the top teams in Major League Baseball. They also rank very highly in several team defensive stats, such as defensive efficiency and defensive runs saved. I got a lot to talk about when it comes to Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. It's my story, and I'm sticking with it, but I'm going to start with number 10 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. And it's my story, and I'm sticking with it. It doesn't mean that everyone agrees with it, because, again, I was dealing with heat stroke. If I can do my Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings with heat stroke symptoms, then maybe you can too. I got the number 10 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The San Diego Padres, they've won 9 of 10 before Sunday's loss, but they cannot expect to be swept by the Red Sox at Fenway Park. And overall, the Padres seem to have, they steadied themselves in this past week, and they did so without the great Fernando Tatis Jr. They like to hit hard down in San Diego, and Petco Field is one of the most beautiful ballparks in the United States. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 9 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Is my story, and I'm going to stick with it. I got runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. I got the Kansas City Royals, another open-air stadium, a lot like Petco Field down in San Diego, but it doesn't get as hot down there on the ocean with the breeze in San Diego as it does in the Midwest with the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Field. A 5-2 week, including tucking 3 of 4 from the impressive Cleveland Guardians. At home might just be what the Royals needed to have their end of their tailspin. You gotta like the Royals. The Royals are actually talking about building a new stadium, actually downtown Kansas City. They may have a retractable dome because it can get pretty sweltering heat down there or out there in the Midwest. They say the bugs are as big as golf balls when you have those bugs flying around. A bug as big as a golf ball, Big C? Yeah, a bug as big as a golf ball from what I hear. Maybe they're suffering from heat stroke, Big C. Well, maybe they are suffering from heat stroke, but you don't want to take heat stroke lightly. In fact, I went to school with a guy named Heat Stroke. He still owes me $5. He always paid me heat stroke. He couldn't remember to pay me back. I got runners. Number 8 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got runners on first and second. That counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love the saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. They're hitting deep in Minnesota. The Minnesota Twins, number 8 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got the great Byron Buxton. He just got hot. Carlos Carrera is having a much better year. Royce Lewis is also healthy, at least for now. The great Carlos Santana has been swinging it really well the last couple of weeks. And Jose Miranda, he looks great also. This gives a decent idea of how the Minnesota Twins can be dangerous in the city of Great Lakes in the postseason if they manage to make it there. Unlike the Minnesota Timberwolves that did not advance to the NBA Western Conference Championship, you better believe that this team, it probably can. And I beg your pardon, they did advance, and they were knocked out by the good old boys when Dallas got through. So they didn't get past it. You want to pass it, pass it. Well, in the words of the Twins, this is a great year for the Minnesota Twins. I don't know if they'll make it into the World Series, but they do have a chance because they swing the bat so well. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 7 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, to the field, back to the wall, grand slam. He went yard. I got down in Stone Mountain, Georgia, where oftentimes they try to block the boat. I got the Atlanta Braves. The 8 games seem like a huge deficit, but the Braves still have 10 head-to-head games left against the Philadelphia Phillies, starting with 3 this coming weekend in Atlanta. If they sweep all of a sudden, the East seems like it's a little bit more workable down in Stone Mountain, Georgia. That Heat and humidity might jump on those good boys for Philadelphia, but they play in front of the Heat and humidity also up in Philadelphia. But I got the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are one of those teams that every year, all they got to do is get into the playoffs, and because they're such a young crew, they have a chance to make some noise, if that makes sense to you. I got number 6 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got runners on second and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep, especially in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the Milwaukee Brewers, they're heading into the year. I thought the National League Central would be the closest race and include the most teams with a legit chance. At the same time, maybe even all 5 teams into September halfway home. The Milwaukee Brewers, they lead by 6.5 games, and they've already put 3 teams at least 9.5 out. They play in the sweltering heat outside of the dome in Milwaukee, but they close the dome and it's nice and air-conditioned inside the building, so the heat's not going to bother them when it comes down to the playoff time. But you got to like the Milwaukee Brewers. They're always swinging the bat in the National League Central, but I don't think they have the firepower to get to the World Series this year. But that's just my story, and I'm sticking with it. And again, everybody has their own opinion. And my opinion matters because everybody says they have an opinion, but my opinion matters, and that's the story that I'm going to stick with. I got number 5 in Big C's Major League Power Rankings. It's just my story, and I'm going to stick with it. I got runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. Got the New York Yankees, a tale of 2 starts as the great Garrett Cole, and he looked absolutely awful against the Mets. And there had been a concern that he was still hurt. And then Sunday, he seemed most like himself, especially with the fastball velocity being back encouraging, even amid the Yankees overall playing poorly right now. But the Yankees, they have the big bats, and when they get into the thick of things in the postseason, they always have a chance to get to that NLCS. And I like their chances this year. Everybody has their own opinion, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Now it's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. Runners on first and third. The counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Baltimore Orioles confirmed the home run derby participant Gunnar Henderson. That good boy has 26 home runs at just past the halfway point. The Orioles ever to reach 50 homers in a season are Chris Davis, 53 in 2013, Brady Anderson, 50 in 1996. And then when you think about going to 45, it only adds that Frank Robinson, one of the greater players in Major League Baseball, and then Mark Trimble and Jim Gentle in the mix. But this team, the Orioles, I got them number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I don't know if they'll stay there, but I like the way they swing the bat. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Runners on first base and third base. The count's full. The pitch, fastball, swung on, hit deep. Center field, back to the wall. It is caught at the warning track. I thought that ball was going to go yard, but the wind caught it. And the Cleveland Guardians, number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Through Tuesday, I was set to finally push the Guardians all the way up to the top 2 spots, and they had earned it with consistent winning all season. But then, taking 2 games in Baltimore, they must have sensed it because then the Guardians dropped 4 or 5 to close the week. I get it, taking on the mantle in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. It adds a lot of pressure, especially when you're doing the show with heat stroke. Are the symptoms of heat stroke. Not every team can deal with it. On a serious note, I was pretty disappointed that they dropped those games into, but you know what? It's a strike zone that they got to find when it comes to the postseason. I think they'll, of course, be into the postseason, but right now I got to put them at I'm going to put them number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Not everybody agrees with that. Some people think that Cleveland is the number 1 team, but I don't put them there. I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to hold on tight to what I believe, and I believe what I believe, and that's my story. I'm taking with it. I got to go number 2 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Runner on first base. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. Paul George is good news for Philadelphia, going from the Clippers to join the great Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for the 76ers. But also on the mound, you got Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, that's pushing for reparations now. Reparations forever. I have them number 2 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. They've already dealt with injuries to Trey Turner and JT Romalto. Now it's Bryce Harper. and crowd server. Fortunately, both injuries, they seem minor, and even in the week that seemed lackluster by the lofty standards of the 2024 Phillies, they had a winning record and did not lose a series. Philadelphia is legit. They're a good team, and I know they'll be trying to make their way back into the World Series. No matter what you think, they are in a push to try to get back into the World Series. It's about pitching, it's about hitting, but you gotta stay healthy also. And sometimes that what they call a hitch in your giddy up might catch up to you. But that's my straight up ticket with it. Well, now I got back by popular demand, and again, I am the press. I am the press on Big C Sports Podcast, and I got number one in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. It's not just based on the record; it's based on the swagger. It's based on what I feel is that momentum, like that midnight train that slides into Beverly Hills. I got runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung in deep. Center field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. In LA, they say the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. You got the great Shohei Ohtani doing his thing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I got number one in Big C's baseball universe. The Los Angeles Dodgers, a 7-run inning in extras. Hilarious. Might have been better if they won the series, but still anyway, there's an argument that they should be second or even first. But that's something that you got to think about with the rotation with the Dodgers. They had a walk-off win last night. This team is so loaded at the skill positions. They have the great Davey Roberts, who's a great manager. The Dodgers, I believe they won 10 of the last 12 National League West titles. And this year seems no different. There's a lot of talk in Los Angeles. LeBron James signed his contract with the LA Lakers. His son, Bronny James, a father-son combination in the NBA. That matches the Jeannie Buss and owner, late Jerry Buss combination, where Jerry Buss had Jeannie Buss's daughter take over the helm of the LA Lakers. There's still some people say there's a little fallout from LeBron James having some influence over his son signing with the LA Lakers. I see it different than that. I say if you got a chance to do something that's spectacular, it's having your family members play a game that you can be a part of, why would you not? It happens in corporate America all the time. As I mentioned in many shows, you have the Buss family from the late Jerry Buss, Jeannie Buss's daughter. No one complained. You look at Al Davis, the late Al Davis, owner of the Raiders, when they were in Oakland, and then went to LA, and then back to Oakland. And with the passing of Al Davis, the ownership was taken over by his son, Mark Davis, and he moved them down to Las Vegas. No one complained. That's a great relationship when you can pass on or bequeath things to your children. No one complained about that. And then even if I look at the San Francisco 49ers, Ed Lebardo Jr., his son, when he got into some trouble, then his son-in-law, Ted York, he took over the ownership of the San Francisco 49ers, the only NFL football team left in Northern California. No one complained. All around the country, you have people that bequeath land and business to their children. So what's wrong with LeBron James using any kind of influence to help his son become a part of the Los Angeles Lakers? LeBron James, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA. That's pretty spectacular. I'm doing my show with heat stroke. When I'm done, I would love to pass my program on to my children. Daisy and Malcolm, they know sports. They follow it. Why not be a part of owning it? That's part of life. The only thing that is in the way of that is them having the desire to. And my goal is to build Big C Sports into $1 billion company, a household name. And I know it's possible because just like BET, Bob Johnson started out with $15,000. Didn't even have $15,000. He built BET up so large that it became worth $3 billion. And I'm saying I'm asking for money from Saudi Arabia. I'm only asking for $6 billion. $6 billion is not a lot of money. You couldn't even buy an NFL football team with $6 billion. Imagine taking Big C Sports Podcast and having, just like LIV, having a sports program that's different. It's not like the other cookie-cutter programs. We talk about sports, we talk about politics, even talk about God. Oh, Big C, you talk about God. Some people don't want to talk about God in their atheist programs, but I do. And what's wrong with the Saudi prince giving Big C Sports $6 billion? You giving it to other people. Why not? They're not going to put you on ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, but Big C Sports will put you on. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you heard Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I love saying that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. May lightning strike if you don't like Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I got a few things to end with today on this beautiful 4th of July weekend. Not only have I made it through heat stroke, but I do have some symptoms because I did feel a little bit loopy doing this show. You can probably tell. Yeah, I did sense you were loopy, Big Z. Yeah, I thank you for giving me some water when I got loopy, if that makes sense to you. But just to close out on a few notes about NBA basketball, NBA star Kevin Durant made an announcement. The Phoenix Suns star has made a new announcement during the NBA offseason, and obviously officially in full swing, and the first 2 days of free agency have been loaded with player movement on teams that have been relatively quiet. The Phoenix Suns, they are expected to mostly run back the same roster from last season, and outside of a few marginal roster changes, I really do like what's going on with Kevin Durant staying in Phoenix. It would have been great to see him back at Golden State because Klay Thompson went down to Dallas. He wants to get away from that Bay Area microclimate in the cool breeze and wants to go down into that heat and humidity of Dallas, Texas. But Durant, despite the trade interest from Houston, the Rockets, that superstar Kevin Durant, a 2-time Finals MVP with the Golden State Warriors, he's going to be staying in Phoenix because he likes the heat. He likes the heat when it's 99 degrees at nighttime in Phoenix, if that makes sense to you. But everybody has their own thoughts about sports and politics, and everybody has their belief that whatever you do, I would want that athletes to champion more about reparations and not be afraid. Think about the indictment you make against your ownership group if they say don't talk about reparations. We can talk about LGBTQ. We can talk about ending apartheid. We can talk about a lot of things. We can talk about ending xenophobia and hate crimes. Let's get our beautiful, intelligent, bright people to champion what President Abraham Lincoln talked about, and that's reparations. It's going to happen in California first. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So don't be afraid to stand up and do the right thing, because it's always the right time to do the right thing. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Just my own thoughts on Klay Thompson leaving the Golden State Warriors and going to join the Dallas Mavericks. You have one of the greatest runs in the history of NBA basketball in the universe with the Golden State Warriors, with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and when Kevin Durant came. But don't forget about the great Andre Iguodala, because when he came over from Denver, Steve Kerr asked him to come off the bench as a superstar, all-star player to come off the bench, and he did it. And he helped fit in where he got in and helped Golden State win some championships. Again, there's a heat advisory in Northern California, and make sure you stay hydrated. Check on the elderly, and if you know anybody suffering from symptoms of heat stroke, like I've been feeling even doing my show today in air conditioning, just make sure you stay hydrated and check on people. Let people know where you are. Let people know how I was feeling today. I went home and took a quick nap, took some ibuprofen, and now I feel a lot better. But don't take for granted that everybody has access to that. Not everybody does. And I want to make sure that I do my part with Big C Sports Podcast to give out that PSA. If you're feeling lightheaded, if you're feeling like maybe you're a little bit sluggish, or you just don't feel like you're yourself, it's okay to sit down and cool off and get in some shade, get in some ice water, whatever it is. Don't sit there and try to tough it out. You got to get there and figure it out. I do want to just close out today's show. I know we have so much movement going on in the world of sports with people signing multiple million-dollar contracts, and I think about some of the quarterbacks that are getting big money. Trevor Lawrence got a massive contract. The most alarming that happened in the league in the past couple of days, after signing a 5-year, $275 million contract, come next to Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in terms of high-paid quarterbacks in the league, making about $55 million a year. Well, where does that leave touchdown Patrick Mahomes? Right now, he's a shining star of the NFL when it comes to quarterback. The Kansas City Chiefs, he signed a 10-year, $450 million contract extension in 2020. After winning the Super Bowl 3 times, he still hasn't, you think about it, he still isn't making what non-Super Bowl winning quarterbacks like Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Trevor Lawrence are making. While you got to think about that. The whole media industry is busy talking about Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, and Lawrence hasn't won anything. They won 1 playoff game. They beat the Chargers. And I think about Trevor Lawrence's huge payday. Nothing wrong with it. If you think about the highest paid quarterback in the league, wouldn't it go to the best player in the league? And that's touchdown Patrick Mahomes. But he's not right now. No, not that anyone's going to complain about it when you make the kind of money that he signed. Nearly $500 million, $450 million deal back in 2020. But he's the best quarterback out there. You have guys that haven't even been to a Super Bowl making more money than him. And that to me doesn't make any sense. Now, no one's going to cry for him because he has that kind of money. But when you think about it, the NFL is a big league. And they talk about end racism, and they put it on the back of their end zones. And I hope they keep doing that. But I also hope that they champion reparations. Don't be ashamed of what President Abraham Lincoln talked about. Especially if you believe in liberty and justice for all. Yesterday I talked about Project 2025. It's called Project 2025 to make America more of an autocratic country. Can't be that. We're a democracy. We got to vote. The right to vote, even though there's voter suppression going on in the South and other parts of the country, we still have a right to vote. And how does sports play a part in it? How does sports play a part in that, Big C? Because people follow our athletes. They love following their favorite athletes. Just like the world came together to end apartheid. On this beautiful 4th of July holiday coming up, the Star Spangled Banner, there'll be barbecues, there'll be people eating food that they like. And they eat so much they may fall asleep after. I just hope that you're out there safe, no drinking and driving, because we want to stay safe. And hopefully the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, they'll start championing reparations, because you're going to hear that push now more and more for reparations. It's like, reparations now, reparations forever. And I wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful, happy 4th of July holiday. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. As I always say, on my mother's side, my great-grandparents, Mama and Pop, I love them with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My grandparents, Muddia and Hezekiah, they were seers. They could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, present, and future. And then I could always turn to my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys in Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. I'll be your angel. You can put me on top of the Christmas tree. And then on my father's side, my grandparents, Albert and Alberta Curry, they were pastors, had 3 churches. They owned 2 gas stations in Oakland. I was 8 years, and they also owned 40 acres of land. I was 8 years old, walking through the hallway about 10 o'clock at night in Oakland, and I felt someone touch me in my forehead. And she said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "What are you doing up, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap, but I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And a couple of cookies wouldn't hurt. It's been a long week. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." "Me Latin is Frank." She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And now I'm doing my thing, even with signs of heat stroke. I got to come through it. I just got to keep coming through it. Love my grandparents, all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter, pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. And I will do that the best I can. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. A voracious reader, always saying go forward. He would say don't look back, because you don't have much backside to look back at anyway. I said, I love my backside, Todd. I love my backside. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate with 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Daisy helped me set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast. Back in the days at Salem Media, it became the first time in the history of the United States of America that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. They normally would go to ESPN, but because of 2 black men in the crew, they started following the Big C Sports Podcast. Daisy, you can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. That no weapon will from against you will prosper. Again, graduated 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate, very smart, erudite, a good man. You can be anything you want to be, Malcolm. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You're a good man. Always trust God. I pray Isaiah 54:17 that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Malcolm, help me say trees. It's always getting newspapers. So look up stats for Big C Sports Podcast. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went up. I've been Googling ever since. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Malcolm, always trust God. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. Yes, we nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-way teleprompter. I don't have a producer in my ear. All I have is this gland in the brain called the pineal gland. The ancients called it the third eye. You see, that's how you talk to God. And that's why I seem so loud. Even with the symptoms of heat stroke, I still talk to God. I want my reparations now. I want my reparations forever. And hopefully God says, yes, you scream loud enough. Now you can have your reparations. You know it's true, God. How about the Powerball, too? Since you're giving me everything I asked for. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. The 4th of July holiday weekend is a bonus. As I always say on every Big C Sports Podcast, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad is one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber. You could call Lyft. You could walk it off. You could sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car and start driving after they've been drinking. The life you save may be your own, or someone you love, or someone who loves you, or someone that someone else loves. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, as people get out drinking this holiday weekend, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If anybody's hitting you, I only hit you because it made me mad. Call 911. If somebody's kicking you, I only kicked you because it made me mad. Call 911. If somebody's choking you out, I only choked you because it made me mad. Call 911. You need more leader in your life. Leader is an acronym for love is the answer. Anybody that loves you, they don't hit you, they don't kick you, they don't slap you, they don't hurt you. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back by popular demand for this 4th of July weekend, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to chat for reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Let's hope that the White House can join in with his old Negro ritual. We say reparations now, reparations forever. Oh, come on, say it like you're going to sing those fireworks songs. You got a chant for reparations now, reparations forever. Say it like you got the biggest sound in the history of the universe. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Happy 4th of July.